What's going on, guys? 24/7 Tech here. Dell's XPS 13 released in January of 2019 and Apple's base MacBook Pro came out about a month ago. Both of those computers are really powerful, really light, and really thin. So in this video, we're going to be comparing both of them to see which one you should pick up.
As always, don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you want to watch some more awesome tech videos in the future.
As in the clip before, guys, take 1 second out of this video to subscribe down below. Every subscriber makes a difference. So let's kick it off with what the Dell XPS 13 has better. Now, straight off the bat, just looking at it, there's one thing that strikes it a win, and it's really big game changer because the bezels on this computer are ultra thin. And the best part about 2019's XPS 13 is that, as you can see on the top, they have fit the webcam on the top bezel, so it's not looking up your nose anymore. It's a full-fledged webcam and it works like the MacBooks does. Next one, it does have an optional touchscreen and 4K display, which the MacBook has none of. The 4K display really does look nice, but you are sacrificing on battery life, which I wouldn't really recommend the 4K display. The touchscreen, however, is something that is pretty useful for a lot of people, and it's not too much of an upgrade as well. So I say you should splurge on the touchscreen. The next one is cheaper pricing. The Dell XPS 13 with a quad-core i5 processor, 8GB of RAM, and 256GB of SSD comes in at $1199, whereas the MacBook Pro, the base MacBook Pro, comes in at $1499 for the same specifications. So it's $300 cheaper on Dell's end. However, you can upgrade this to a higher i7 processor, 16GB of RAM, 1TB SSD if you want to. Next thing, the keyboard on this is a much better keyboard than the MacBook Pro. The MacBook Pro has a butterfly keyboard that they have improved for the 4th time, as you can see right there. And now it has a silicone membrane. They had that from the 3rd gen, but now they've added a different material, something to make it more quality prone. I don't know how this thing is going to hold up, but the Dell's keyboard is definitely much better. Now let's talk about something that the MacBook Pro has. Now, to get some Apple-esque things back out of the way, the main things that I sort of stand out on any Apple computer, one is that display. It's got much better color accuracy, brightness, and the resolution is a much higher resolution than the base Dell XPS 13. As I said, it has the option of 4K display, but battery life is really bad on it. You get about 5 to 6 hours of screen time, whereas the other two, the 1080p Dell XPS 13 gets about 10 hours, and so does this MacBook Pro. And another thing is, either you hate it or you don't hate it, the touch bar is something that you have on the MacBook Pro. See, the touch bar isn't really necessary, but I do prefer it over function keys. It does look a little better, and it's more customizable. So in Final Cut Pro, let's say when you're editing through your timeline, it adapts to what you need instead of function keys, which is 12 different keys, which are just 12 keys set in one specific order. The processor and the GPU, the CPU and the GPU are also better, much better on the MacBook Pro side. The Dell XPS 13 on Geekbench multi-core scores gets about 13 to 14,000, whereas this machine gets about 17,000 in multi-core. So that's a huge jump up in performance, and that's all because macOS is much more supported for the Intel chips because it's much more optimized for the macOS software. The next thing, the GPU, the Iris Plus 645 graphics that you find on the MacBook Pro are much better than the Intel UHD 620 graphics you find on the Dell XPS 13. The XPS 13's graphics is closer to the MacBook Air's graphics, but the Pro's Iris Plus graphics are much more advanced than the UHD graphics 620. Another sort of smaller thing, but nice to have, is that bigger trackpad. So you can see that's the XPS 13's trackpad. By no means, it's not a slouch, it's a good trackpad. But nothing can beat that MacBook Pro trackpad. One, it's massive. Two, the Force Touch trackpad, you can touch it anywhere and it'll count as a click. Whereas the XPS 13 uses the multi-touch trackpad, as Apple calls it. Whereas you have to touch it on the bottom and the top is sort of unresponsive. It's a more subtle thing, the color options on the XPS 13, you have to upgrade to more higher end configuration to get the white models, as you can see right here. Whereas the MacBook Pro, every model that they sell comes with either a silver or a space gray color option. So what's the verdict? Which one should you buy? I think the MacBook Pro wins it out over here. Now, I do understand that it's much more expensive, but By the way, Apple has a back-to-school education deal going on, which knocks off a minimum of $100 off of the MacBook Pro itself and throws in free Beat Studio 3, which normally are $350. First of all, I think that's an amazing deal, but that aside, why I think the MacBook Pro wins is because of its display processing, build quality, design, speakers, everything. It's a much more all-rounded device. Only thing holding it back is the keyboard right now, but I think you can get past it, and you have 4 years of warranties. You can see right there, every MacBook Pro has a 4-year warranty, so if you have any troubles with it, just go to Apple Store and you get a free replacement. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, subscribe down below. Every subscriber makes a difference, and I'll catch you in the next video. See ya.